This is Analog Spectrum. Why are you here? There's so many better things you could be doing.
All right, everybody, welcome to Analog Spectrum, and we're going to be talking about another movie this evening or in the morning or whenever you're watching it. For us, it's evening. We're all a little bit tired. We've all had long days, but we're there for you. We're there for you, the listener. Listener, one listener.
That's right.
All right, so and we're going to talk.
Listen up.
I'm really, I'm super happy to be talking about this movie. Super happy because. So we're going to talk about The Bad News Bears, the 1976 movie starring Walter Matthau, Tatum O'Neal, a few other people, Jackie Earl Haley, who some may be familiar with, some not. But for those that have never seen it, what the fuck? But if you've never seen it, it's about a down on his luck bum of an individual pool cleaner played by Walter Matthau, who is hired.
You got to straighten that out. That's not 100% accurate.
What do you mean?
He's not a bum. He drinks too much for sure. So
he describes himself as a bum in the movie, by the way.
Well, yeah. Well, it's called self-reflection or whatever. But he's got a home and he's got a car.
Okay, not a bum. He's not a bum in the 2023 version of a bum.
You know what you call?
He's
a bum.
No, they're unhoused people.
Oh, unhoused people.
I apologize.
Sorry.
For any of our unhoused
the
listeners.
PC police are here.
so goddamn Gen Z. Let's not trigger anybody. Just that's why we have Drew here. He's like, guys, you're not going to want to say that.
Yeah, Okay. So anyway, Walter Matthau.
We will say somebody who's down on his luck, who cleans pools for a living. He has a history of being a minor league ball player. He's hired by a local city councilman to coach his son, and in a little league where the team was forced into the little league by a litigious father. And it's just basically his story of coaching this Little League team and the story of the kids and how that plays out. So it's pretty simple. Again, came out in 1976. I know we've kind of beat this up, at least on one of the last podcasts. This is really the time when Doug and I were around that age of the kids in this in this movie. So there you go. I think the 2 movies ago, Drew started. Last movie, I started. Doug, tell us what you thought of Walter Matthau in Bad News Bears.
Oh, well, what did I think of Walter Matthau? He was brilliant. Did he win an award for this? If he didn't, he should have. I can't. I didn't look it up. I don't have time. But
let me stop you just for a second. This is good.
Okay.
This is probably going to be another one after you say that where we're going to be on the same page. Go ahead.
Okay. If he didn't win an award for this, he should have. I thought the only movie that I ever liked him in more than this was The Odd Couple. But outside of that, he was freaking brilliant. And the kids were brilliant. And, I will say the set design was brilliant only because there was no set design. They really just went to a local ball field, hired very few extras to come sit in the stands and pretend they're parents and clap. I mean, it was super, super stripped down in terms of like budget, right? There was Zippo. He had a piece of shit car. They broke the window. And so they didn't even fix the window. So it was that was a great movie all around. The one thing I was sitting here thinking as you were doing the intro is like character arc. We always talk about character arc when we talk about these movies, and I think he had a subtle character arc, but it was deep. You know what I mean? Like the change for him was substantial. He didn't stop drinking, so that's a spoiler alert. But and that was great, man. When he was giving the kids beer, and it's just the whole thing, man. It was just freaking awesome.
Right.
And for those that are triggered easily by insults and racial slurs and all that, don't watch this movie. This movie is raw when it comes to that kind of stuff, man. And I find it hilarious because it was reflective of the time. It really was. And so it's not like in 2023 saying those things. They were idiots. These kids were doofuses, and probably, if you could dig backstory out of there, most of their parents are probably alcoholics as well, or some form of drug addict. It was 1976, man. But anyway, Yeah, no, it was. I loved it. It was super cool.
Yep. And Drew, what do you think of it?
Yeah, I think we're all three of us probably on the same page. So I don't think I had watched it before watching it for this. If I had, it was a real long time ago, and I kind of forgot the premise of the movie. But yeah, man, I loved it, man. It was hilarious. Like my dad said, the character arc of Walter Matthau's character I thought was awesome, because there's like halfway through the movie, or maybe even a little less, like towards the beginning, he's taking all the kids along to clean the pools for him, and he's getting them to do all the work for him and shit. And he's just a dirtbag, man. He's like a typical dirtbag. And then at the end,
But see, again, this is the point that I want to make. He's not a dirtbag with bad intentions, right?
yeah.
He's actually a very nice guy, and he
Yes.
wants good things for the kids. And he's just like, he's tired and burned out, knows he drinks too much, doesn't have enough money. But the kids, man, yeah. But we used to do that, right, Tony? Like, you had to work for free for stuff when you were a kid. Your parents would say, "Oh yeah, come on, you're going to help one of my friends dig a hole in their backyard." Well, that means Dad's drinking beer and you're digging the hole, right? So.
Yep. Yeah.
Anyways.
I tell you, like my experience, because I probably bought this movie like 5 years ago on Amazon, and it kind of sat there, anytime you turn on a movie from your generation, and I will tell you, in 1976, this movie came out right before the summer hit, and I remember going to this movie and being like, just, it's the greatest. And of course, I was like, 1976. I was 9 years old, about the time that Drew stopped crying. Anyway,
Jesus, here we go again. Don't make him cry
call
again.
back. Anyway, no. So I was about.
That's all right, dude. You can just go kick his ass next time around his house. That shit's old now.
No problem.
Oh, I know. I'm done. That's the last I'll ever say.
Can't even step into the car anymore.
I'm not proud of that. Anyway, so anyway, when I was about 9 years old, we were like, God, The Bad News Bears, greatest movie ever made. And I started watching it this time, and trying to watch it through, a little bit more of a critical eye. And they had that opening scene where all the kids were kind of harping on Buttermaker, and how, he, and I was like, oh shit, I'm not going to like this movie, because they're being annoying, and I don't like movies that kind of focus on annoying kids, right? But as the movie played on, the team became more kind of, it's a character unto itself. They became very, they became very relatable, and they kind of softened that whole, the fat kid throws the ball through the window kind of stuff. They all became a little bit more nuanced. I won't say new. It's weird to call them nuanced. I mean, kind of like you were saying, Doug. They were, it was very organic. This seemed like a real ball.
That's a good word for it. They seem like natural kids for that time.
But also, with that said, so that alone, that's going to put this movie above average. But I swear, you and I are like on the same page. I try to really watch Walter Matthau in this movie, and I think this is a really good movie. This movie is not good enough for Walter Matthau. That's how I feel. His acting in this movie, the two scenes that really stuck out, where he's in the dugout with Channing Tatum, who, by the way, Amanda, she's she's the young, she is the youngest winner of an Oscar. Now, back when the Oscars meant something. Yeah, she was 10 years old, won it for Paper Moon, right? And
wow.
And so clearly she is a great actor. Was it Jackie Earl Haley as the little delinquent kid? I think I know there was one scene in there where I bet you were like, oh, hell yeah. Like where he's got the Harley and that guy grabs him off the bench and he kickstarts the Harley standing next to it. I was like, oh, that kid's tough as shit, man. He's such a little badass, man. Yeah. And
we all had those kids in our neighborhood back in the day.
Yes,
I wasn't that kid.
dude,
I was not that kid. Yeah, but
I was not that kid. But there was one kid in the neighborhood that you're like, did you hear, what's his name? Jimmy he's like 9, but he beat the shit out of a 14-year-old. Oh my freaking God.
Yeah. That was all the news. Yeah.
And so, but there's a scene where she's telling him how, she wants him back in his, he,
Mhm.
and he freaking throws the beer against the wall,
Yeah.
and
And he goes
and you
off
can
on
even,
her.
and
Yeah.
he goes off on her, and then you look at his eyes, and you're like, dude, man, that's amazing. The acting was amazing, and then
Yeah.
later on. I forget the kid's name. I can look it up real quick, but the one that played the I forget the one that played the son of the little kid, not Rudy, but I mean, it was Toby. Toby,
So,
he's like, hey, you need to take Amanda out. Her arm's trashed, right?
hmm
And the little kid, by the way, nailed it also, because he's like,
hmm
are you coaching this team? And he like chews the little kid out, and the kids look at him like, oh my God, man,
Mm.
you're a horrible person,
You're
right?
an asshole.
And
Yeah.
yeah, you're an asshole, right? And then Walter Matthau was looking at the kid like, oh my God, man, I'm a horrible person. You
I'm
know
an
what I mean?
asshole. Yeah.
I'm an asshole. Yeah, and you're like,
Yeah.
holy shit, man.
Yeah.
But other
But
than
you know
that, I
what I
mean, there
think,
was
a little just slightly deeper than that, Tony, is I think what I got from those scenes, I agree with you, 100% awesome.
Mhm.
When the camera flashed back to him after he threw the beer at her,
Yeah.
you could quickly see the regret of him throwing the beer, and then the confidence of him, like was what I was reading into it, the confidence of him doing it and being okay with doing it because he didn't want to screw up her life, right? He didn't want to drag her down with all of his bullshit, and
Right.
that very subtle, layered, nuanced kind of look in his eye was
None of
that
it was
caught me as well.
dialogue either.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
No,
absolutely,
that
yeah.
was
you're right, Drew.
the interesting part. It was like it
Yeah.
was all just looks.
Yep.
Yep.
And it was the same with that
Yep.
little kid when, he looked like I felt a lot of times when I was
Yes.
that age. Like
Yeah.
adults
Like, what the
rule.
fuck?
You're powerless, man. You just have to
Yes.
accept whatever it is the hell that they're doing. So,
I almost wonder if the kid, if like it was a scene where they were like, okay, we're going to do this a couple ways. And then
yeah.
Walter Matthau freaking uncorked on him. The kid was like,
Yeah.
fuck. I mean, like, the kid's not even acting.
Okay,
I
cut.
mean,
That's a
like, he's
keeper.
like, because he looked like, God. I
Yeah.
mean, you're right. He had that look of I think my thought is actually deeper than your thought. But with that said,
Oh, okay.
my
Sorry.
deeper than your thought. No, I think he literally had that look where he was kind of like I've had that, like you were just saying, I had that
Yeah.
look as a kid where like,
Yeah.
I think my dad's about to fucking hit me.
Yeah. And you're powerless, right? You're powerless. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
I got, but a few other interesting things is like you were talking about, like the drinking, and the Tanner was the little boy, awesome, the kid with the attitude and the racial
Yeah.
slurs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
This movie was PG. Can you fucking
Wow.
believe that? Yeah,
That's
this movie was
crazy.
PG.
It'd be like R. It wouldn't even get released today.
Well,
Yeah.
there are certain things like the kids drinking that beer at the end,
Yeah.
and
Dude, when he pulls up
and
in the opening scene and he pulls up in his car and he pours like a quart of the beer out, then fills it with whiskey, I'm like,
yes,
that is
he makes
so
a boiler.
awesome.
His name is
Boilermaker in a
Buttermaker. He
bud
makes a
can.
Boilermaker. Yeah, he makes a Boilermaker in his car, and he's right. But yeah, it's just I don't know, man. It's one of those movies where and I probably use this term too much, but it was like lightning in the bottle, but maybe not, because you have Walter Matthau. If you're going to put Walter Matthau in a movie, you're going to get
you got a winner.
pretty powerful appointment. Yeah, you do. And also Tatum O'Neal was very, as Amanda. Their interaction as kind of like the father figure and the daughter was it didn't seem like acting.
Yeah, no, not at all. And I found it really interesting as well that they never showed mom. They talked about mom. She was like a central character to their relationship, but they never showed her. And I like when writers do stuff like that. I like it.
Yeah, and they never
it leaves an element of mystery.
Yeah, they never gave any background exactly what happened. You know what I mean? I mean, you could.
But she even said mom was coming to the game, right? But they never showed mom. So,
no, yeah, you assume that she was in the stands. Yeah, I mean, but you never know. And also they opted for not a happy ending.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but
not
the word was actually
in my book.
No. The word was they actually shot multiple endings, showed it to test audience, and they preferred the one where they lost. So,
right.
And by the way, spoiler alert, they lose.
They don't win. Yeah,
they don't win.
Whatever.
But we're talking about Yeah, we're talking about the Tatum O'Neal and of course Walter Matthau. I thought Jackie Earl Haley was great as the supporting character. I like when he's in the the ballet studio and he's going like,
Oh yeah.
"Hey, you like
He's like,
motorcycles?"
I got a motorcycle. I got a Harley Davidson.
Oh, Harley Davidson.
Does that mean
Hey, right
anything
now,
to you?
playing for the Bears, batting 843.
I like when he's hustling dudes for freaking money at the ice hockey table.
Oh yeah, with
Yeah,
the air
so-
hockey. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I know, and it's funny because she sits there and she's playing with him, and she scores. She just knocks it in the goal like 4 times when she's messing with him. So he's hustling her right then and there. You know what I mean? He's let her score a couple times, and and I like it comes back out and they have to go to a concert. And like I said, there's all kinds of interest. They made 2 sequels of this. They blew. They sucked.
Terrible,
I guess. I would have to go back. I remember as a kid, I liked in Breaking Training, which is where they go to Houston and play in the Astrodome. I remember liking it. I've not seen it since 1970 whatever when it came out.
Right.
And like I think I mentioned to you, Doug, I did go back and watch the Billy Bob Thornton. I don't remember what year it came out, like 2006 or something. Remake of this. It's horrible. It tries so hard. That's one thing about this movie is you could actually see something like this happen. You could actually see this team come together. These kids seemed real, but the like in this remake, they just try to take it up to 11, and this movie doesn't need it to be taken to 11. Like for example, there's a kid in a wheelchair, a paraplegic kid on the team. That's I don't know if that's even a thing. Billy Bob Thornton by himself is a decent actor, but he's not Walter Matthau. I mean, I will tell you one thing probably about the original that seemed a little bit like it maybe could have been forced, but it wasn't, was how, Walter Matthau was playing for the win. And it wasn't until that, oh, by the way, when that father slapped his son on the mound.
That was powerful, man.
Oh God, I'm okay. And again, Andrew, I am sorry for what I've said earlier. I will tell you right now, when he comes off the mound, drops the ball, and his mom is waiting for him, dude, that choked this old man up a little bit, man. I'll tell you right now, it did. And also when he yelled at Amanda in the dugout, I was like, damn, that's. I mean, if a movie about a bunch of kids playing baseball can make you feel a little bit like. Yeah, it make you choke you up a little bit. That's something. But it seemed a little bit forced that was like the turning point for the Buttermaker character. But Walter Matthau pulled it off. Regrettably, Billy Bob Thornton, he can't pull it off. He can't.
Yeah, no. He's good. He's good in his own way, right? In his own stuff. It's not that he was ill cast, but that was a bad project from the beginning. Why would you remake Jaws? Why would you remake Jaws? Nobody needs to ever remake Jaws. They never need to remake Terminator or Alien or any of those epic, awesome classics. Leave them alone. Let them be what they are, But of course, we ran out of ideas. Hey, what about Terminator? Let's remake that.
Dude, I saw something.
Go, it's a great idea.
Yeah, I saw something a long time ago where they were talking about remaking Highlander, and I was like, Jesus, please don't remake Highlander. Please, no. I mean,
Anyways,
but yeah. So the remake was, just a kind of a footnote in this.
I was going to ask Drew from the age differential perspective. What do you think? Do you think the people that you hang with on a regular basis? You think they would like this movie? That's just like your average friends.
Yeah, I think so.
Would they be spazzed out about the language?
No, it might make him cringe for a second, but no, probably wouldn't spaz out about it. I think you have to be pretty sensitive to that because you got to remember when it was made and it's a movie and all the rest of it. I think you'd be all right. Yeah,
and for those what well, I will tell you one thing, Drew. For one, like the way the Tanner kid talked, we all talked like that. We did. Okay, that's the way it was.
But nobody knew any different, right? Like there was no awareness.
The black kid on the team didn't
faze him.
Yeah, he gave it right back.
Yeah, he did. He didn't even blink. But that was the thing, was that Tanner, his whole thing was figure out their their nationality or who they are, and that's and pick the racial slang word to go after the racist slang word to go after him. it didn't do it all the time, but
Yeah.
it was so natural. That kid was so natural doing it.
It was so funny, dude. What was that black kid's name? I can't remember his name.
Was it Abdul? In the
Yeah.
movie?
Might be Abdul. Yeah. When he took off.
It was Ahmad Abdul Rahim. So.
Ahmad Abdul, yeah. When he took off and climbed the tree and sat there in his underwear, that shit was so funny. Like, I knew kids that did that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know, sitting there in his tidy whities. That shit was funny.
His older brothers were badasses, and he was all sad that he was trash.
Yep. And you're right. Well, there's a lot of things in there, like you. I think you nailed it on the head when you hit the nail on the head when you were talking about how the set design was perfect because all they did was just went to a little league baseball field.
It's a little ball field,
moved in. And scene of like them get at the concession stand and everything like that. You're like, yeah, dude, that's the way we played ball, man. Another thing that really got me. Yeah, I played baseball for like 14 years from the time of like T-ball all the way up into, when I was like, I say 14 years, probably about 10, and so that was what I did over the summer. I say a few. By the way, we were missing probably one of the most integral parts of this movie: the Chico's bail bonds.
That was awesome,
dude. I was, and this in comparison to the remake. Okay. In this movie, he goes to, he has to get a sponsor, and all the teams have sponsors. Like, I thought it was interesting that they all had like food sponsors, like Pizza Hut and Denny's and all that kind of stuff. And you could do that back then. You could have, it wasn't but the only sponsor he could get was a bail bonds, bail bondsman, right? And so all the joke was they just showed the back of the shirts. They never talked about it. You just saw it. I mean, and then
make a big deal out of it.
Didn't make a big deal out of it. The kids were sponsored by a bail bondsman. Okay.
Yep.
And everybody else was sponsored by like, the sporting goods store. Whatever.
So funny, man.
In the remake, they were sponsored by a strip club, and they made like a big deal out of it. Right. It's kind of like, God, you don't have to freaking force the joke.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things we learned in film school is like the really good movies do that. And essentially what they're doing, and when the writers and directors, what they're doing is they're giving the audience credit for being smart enough to figure that little stuff out. And that's not even a little thing, right? That's kind of an easy thing because it's like, I heard Drew over there and we watched it together. And as soon as they showed the back of that shirt, he cracked up out loud. I cracked up out loud. Elzeth cracked up out loud because her and I have been through that, trying to get sponsorships and whatever. Right. But anyway, so you got to give your audience credit and allow them to discover stuff on their own, right? Allow them to think and allow them to, come to their own conclusions instead of spelling everything out, It's not Barney.
No, yeah. Dude, so the movie was nuanced. Another interesting thing was every one of the teams had a major league team name except for the Bears. Just another thing to separate them from everybody else, you know. And so they were clearly the underdog. What's that? Bears
football.
Chicago Bears
football. Okay, you should probably stop talking right now.
Bears. No Bears baseball team.
All right, hold on. I'm opening a new tab.
You just don't start naming teams. It's going to get ugly. And I'm like, So, but no, the Bears themselves are not a baseball. But there should be a Bears baseball team, Major League Baseball team now, especially. Hey, there was a Ducks hockey team after the Anaheim Ducks. Yeah. So, but I think, like I said, I think overall we all enjoyed this movie. It was just a
spectacular movie.
It's a great movie. That's actually it's a time capsule of the 70s. Without even trying. It's actually, rather than say it didn't age well, this is aged like fine wine. It's just a really good movie. If you want to see acting at its best, Walter Matthau in this movie is amazing. And kid actors usually are not all that great. The kid actors in this movie hold their own.
Every one of them rocked it. Yeah, every one of them.
Yeah, every one of them. Yeah. So, what would you give it? What would you give it on a scale of 1 to 10, Drew?
I would go. Probably, I can't even remember what I gave the other movies, so I would go probably 8.5 or 9 out of 10, probably. Okay. Maybe solid 9. Solid 9. Because I can't really think of anything wrong with it.
Got it. Doug?
Same, solid 9. Maybe edging 9.25 or something. You know what I mean? Like, the only reason it doesn't get a 10, there was no gunplay. So.
Yeah, like I said, there are a few scenes in it where, I'll give you an example. The team that when Ahmad got hit in the balls, I was like, why? That was just cheap. That was cheap. So
Well, it's like a flirt joke, right? I mean, that was popular back then. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but I would go 9. I was thinking 9 anyway. So I think we're on the same page.
Right.
Well, that's great. Man,
Cool.
I tell you what, that is one of those movies where like there's definitely movies I brought out and I've been like, hey, what do you think? And Doug might say, well, I didn't think very highly of it. I don't care. You know what I mean? It's great.
Right.
I would probably, if any of you had been like, I hate that movie, I would be like, I don't fucking, I don't understand what's going
wrong.
Yeah, exactly. What do you consider good? Gunpowder milkshake?
Yes, as a matter of fact.
MASH?
No, as a matter of fact.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Anyway,
great.
yeah.
All
So
right,
if anybody hadn't seen it, that's watching or listening to this, go check it out, man. It is worth it.
Definitely.
Yeah,
$3 on Amazon or something, whatever.
Yeah, $3 on Amazon. Currently on Paramount Plus. If you just want to stream it, with all the other Bad News Bears movies, which I have. Like I said, the only one I watched was the remake, and that's about it. So, well, thank you again very much for listening, and another one of these will be posted in about a week, and I hope you have a great day.
Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves for a mind-blowing revelation. The true masters behind Analog Spectrum are none other than 2 small, adorable dogs. That's right, folks. Olive and Susie are the real brains behind the operation, and they are totally in charge. These canine connoisseurs of podcasting insist that humans like, share, and subscribe to our show. Because let's face it, humans who don't do that are simply stupid pants. Yes, you heard it right. Stupid pants. Our furry hosts have one mission in mind: to make all humans out there cool. They want you to join the Cool Club by engaging with Analog Spectrum and spreading the word. It's a small price to pay for the honor of being cool, right? Our doggy duo insists that you reach out to us via email. They may not be able to read, operate a mouse, or type on a keyboard, but hey, they want you to have your say. So if you have constructive feedback or a burning desire to be on the show, drop us an email. Who knows? Maybe our hosts will find a way to include you, even if it involves some creative dog-human communication. While Susie and Olive lack the technical skills to navigate the digital world, they have an undeniable knack for bringing joy, laughter, and a touch of sass to your screens. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the antics of these furry maestros as they take you on a wild ride through the Analog Spectrum. Remember, humans, your fate is in their paws. Don't disappoint them. Be cool, not stupid pants.